Yeah, jumper. Where were you last
Good
week?
afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Apex Racing TV. Welcome to the Ricmotech World Challenge from the Sebring circuit in the United States. Andrew Woodhouse and Tyler Vickery with you, bringing you all the action from this race. And I do apologise for the late start. Just a couple of, well, it's not technical issues. It's human issues. It's the squishy part behind the computer that was the problem, and that is me. So yeah, apologies for that. But we are into the race. Tyler's been keeping an eye out on what's happened, and already some interesting developments. Tyler.
Absolutely. For the GT3 field, well, I should say a GTD field, Bobby Childs, who was qualified in first, had a little bit of issues going into turn one. Went 3 wide into the corner, and he just absolutely lost the brakes and just slammed into the right side of the tire barriers. But he did get back underway, but he is a few seconds behind the rest of the field, though.
Yeah, I'm just having a couple of small issues with the overlay. Actually, I just cannot get the timing screen up, but I will try that while we go. But if Tyler, if you can just take it away just for a minute or two, and I'll try and get that all sorted out.
Yeah, definitely. As we're keeping an eye right now, switching over to the LMP1 field right now. Travis Swanky's trying to close in on Pascal Iannucci. He just ran a quick lap time of a 157.2 here at Sebring Raceway, and Swanky and all of the LMP1s have been fairly clean. Swanky has run a purple sector in Sector 1 and is trying to catch up, but so far a lot of the battles have been mainly further down. Right now, fighting for 5th, we've got the Axon Driver Solution of Arthur Chan trying to get around Brian Carter right now, and these guys have been in a nice little train here from 4th on back, so we'll see what they can do there. And everything's going fairly clean right now. As we're keeping an eye now, seeing a look at Pascal Iannucci, and just blowing away. He's ran another quick few sectors here, sector 2, 4, and 5. So looks like he's going to start pulling away up to a 10-second, not to a 10-second, a 2-second gap now on Travis Swanky. Right now, we got another close battle further back in the LMP, in the GT field with Kevin Ford right now having a decent battle. As we switch over to the GT3 field, Eric Violet. And then now here we go, Kevin Ford's looking around, trying to see if he can get around Jennifer McDonald in the StreetSurvival.org racing team. Their Ferrari 488. So far, about a 0.2 of a second gap, and if they can run clean here, he might have an opportunity. But he's going to play it safe right now while he's also trying to take an opportunity to take fuel as saving fuel. It's a 2-hour and 15-minute race for them, as we just lost a driver. I think looks like Stephen Thomas dropped out. I don't know if he was in the car or not. Well, they keep an eye on that. Looking further back, we're watching Nathan Thomas now, Driftline Racing, in his own little bubble right now, trying to catch up to Eric Violet and Tyler Shiflett, who are both 4 seconds in front of him right now.
Yeah, they're not on the same team, Stephen Thomas?
I think so, actually.
Stephen Thomas isn't on my list,
yeah,
so I assume it is, but they haven't been to the pits or anything, so...
Yeah, I think Thomas was Stephen Thomas. I think he was being the spotter at the time. So I think so. Looks like Nathan was the one starting the car.
He's not been into the pits or anything, so I don't think there's anything too bad there. Iannucci still leads by 2.5 seconds. Good start for them. Ahead of Travis Swanky in the Excite Energy Racing Porsche, which did take the win last time out. Such a tough track though, very bumpy, Tyler, and very unusual, mostly concrete.
Yeah, and especially using the old airfield portions of the airfield as well, and with especially, I mean, granted they keep it, Sebring keeps it maintained, but it definitely throws these cars around for a loop, and it's a very demanding track.
User disconnected from your channel.
Yeah, it is. 2 hours and 15 minutes around here. It's going to be tough. And yeah, it's a concentration circuit. Is this for me? I think it's a one where, you know, a small mistake can really play havoc with your race, and it can anywhere, but definitely Sebring.
Yeah, definitely, and especially with this kind of races, you can also where you can play it safe, like how Pascal Iannucci is starting to run a little safe. I'm keeping an eye on sector times here. Sector 5, Pascal Iannucci went purple, but then Travis Schwenke in the Excite Energy team, he went purple in sectors 6 and 7. So it looks like Schwenke now is going to try to see if he can push the car a little bit, try to catch up to Iannucci, and it'll be interesting because the gap's gone up to 2.5 seconds. So it'll be interesting to see how the strategy plays out, especially for a 2 hour and 15-minute race.
Yeah, that's the key. It always is in these Ricmotech World Challenge races. And yeah, we'll see exactly how it plays out. Of course, Sunset Bend coming up for Iannucci. A really tough corner. There's about 5 different lines through there. Nobody really knows the best one, I think, even to this point.
Yeah, and especially with Sunset Bend, for me, it's like I try to play it inside and slowly work my way out to the outer half. But there's so many different lines that everyone can do, like especially even here for turn 1, how you can cut in and like right where that cone was on the fence. That's pretty much where the middle of the corner is, I should say, and that's where everyone uses that cone as their apex. So once you hit that cone, get back on that throttle, and should have the best exit out of there in turn 1.
On the run down to hairpin, we've seen some good overtaking moves into there over the years. Also saw one car very famously lose brakes altogether and end up outside the circuit. I don't know if you've seen that video before, but
oh yeah,
you almost had to pay to get back in.
I think it was more because I've seen the video, and I'm tempted when I have an opportunity in March to get out there for the 12-hour and the World Endurance Series. I'm tempted to ask any of the main staff if I see it, to ask them about that, because it'd be kind of funny just because of how that whole scenario happened. And from what I was seeing in the video, I think when the driver was trying to get back on the track, I think he accidentally pulled into the hotel area, which is a hotel right to the left side there at the hairpin corner. So I think it definitely caught off guard a lot of people that night.
Yeah, that's where not to stand, I guess, when you go there. Tyler Schiffler and Eric Violet battling away into Mercedes-Benz here. And Schiffler, car 24, is the one in front at the moment, but looks like that could change at any minute. Violet very, very close to him. And their fastest laps, it's the last lap that they ran was 2 minutes .74, and both of them did the same time.
Wow, that's hard to duplicate, and especially when they're
even running behind each other, it's still hard to do.
Yeah, and I mean, the hilarious thing too is,
look at this.
There being, oh yeah, here comes the draft now. This Violet's looking on the inside, but he's gonna check up a little bit here. Gonna make sure he can make the pass cleanly, as sunset is falling here, and by probably in another, I want to say in another 30 to 45 minutes, we might be completely dark, especially with this time of the year. As I'm looking at the time, they've got the time set for May 15th, and it's around, currently for the in-game sim time, they have it almost at just 7 minutes till 8. So usually around, and then probably, yeah, I'm going to say about another 30 minutes or so. Because usually around the summertime in Florida.
Really nice picture though, isn't it? Really nice view.
Yes. But I can guarantee you in about probably 30,
oh, hello,
45
he's missed it.
Oh, my, that was close. Yeah.
That's what we talked about though, isn't it? I mean, he didn't have a brake failure, but he
no, that was so
almost had a brain failure.
Yeah. But yeah, just to make the quick point, in about 30 minutes or so, this track will be completely dark, so it'll be real interesting to see how these drivers fare around the track as the temps get cooler and as the night goes on.
Yeah, indeed. Good lap for Tyler Schiffler at this point, because he's pulled away a little bit. He's pulled away by 0.6 of a second.
And they've been pulling away from Thomas as well. Thomas is still hanging in there in the 201s, but lost a lot of time though. He's 7, almost 8 seconds behind Shiflett and Violet right now, and that's gonna be a hard task for Driftline Racing to try to make up.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's just that we can have a look actually. We can have a look at that on the screen and see the gap, the progression of the gap. Yeah, last 4 laps, it was 10.2 seconds. Thomas has lost 4 seconds in the last 4 laps, and that's not like Nathan Thomas to lose that kind of time. But I guess the other two are really on it. But Thomas won't be too disappointed if he can keep in that 3rd place, and he's got Mark Kedrowski behind him with in the 944 car.
Yeah, and looking at the last lap
possibly, I'm not sure really, but.
Yeah, I want to say Kedrowski in the TMC Racing Mercedes-Benz. Or actually, no, not Mercedes. Sorry, that's an Audi.
It is. Let's spot it.
For once, a different car. At times I get a little bit upset not seeing more Audis or even any of the other GT3s. It just seems like it's Mercedes dominated in every single GT3 race that I've been in.
Yeah, just the one Audi, just the one Ford. Unsurprisingly, it's Kevin Ford running the Ford. I mean, he'd be daft not to, wouldn't he? But I think, yeah, there was a time, wasn't there, just for maybe a few months earlier on this year, where the Mercedes had sort of been balanced out so that it wasn't the car that everybody wanted. But there's always been a tendency to lean towards it, hasn't there? And it seems like it hasn't changed.
Yeah, and the thing I've noticed too, especially for the GT3s after watching, I don't know if any of you guys watched the real life Bathurst, but I noticed there was a lot of Mercedes entries in that one as well. And so I have a feeling that the way they've got the balance of power for the GT3s might be just as accurate as real life. So there must be something that FIA did to the Mercedes that Mercedes probably took advantage of and realized that they had more power than they were expecting. So I have a feeling probably once the FIA does their balance changes, as Cartier has a little bit of a moment there. He ends up now dropping down to 0.8 of a second gap from Arthur Chan, and Chan's probably loving this right now.
Oh yeah, exactly. I think that's put Cartier about a second further back from Russell Ruddock.
Yeah. But yeah, then we even got Jennifer McDonald. She's trying to get around Kevin Ford again. Looks like she's got about 0.4 of a second gap. Yeah, so here we go. Battle again with Ford and a Ferrari this time. Ooh.
So those positions
tires got
changed,
a little squealy.
And then McDonald not really losing out since, but when was that? I haven't got that on my I have got that on my timing screen. That was from quite a way ago. We'll see the move actually here. McDonald just getting a bit wide. I think that might have been through Tower. I'm not sure exactly, but Oh, around the outside.
Oh, wow.
He did not
What
take any
overtake.
prisoners
Wow.
with that one, did he? Wow.
No, he did not. Unbelievable pass.
Good work by Kevin Ford. He's an admin, series admin on this. No wonder he's doing so well. Now, you mentioned, we can see that the bright light of the sunset has given way to the sort of dusky orange nature, and as you said, Tyler, it's going to start closing in on us here.
Yeah.
What's the difference with this track at night in terms of through the day? Do you approach it in any different way, or is it mostly the same?
For me, I like nighttime driving, but when I like the race during the night because I always think it's just a spectacle just to race at night. But when you have a track that doesn't have a lot of extra kind of like illuminated light compared to like a good example of Daytona, how they have their own lights.
Yes, it's all illuminated pretty much there,
yeah,
isn't it? Yeah,
Sebring, you don't have that luxury in drivers like myself that I'm saying this out there because I mean I've been doing very horrible with road course racing lately. Someone that has like a 900i rating right now, I hate saying that too, but it's especially trying to drive quick laps like these drivers are right now at late at night. It's very difficult because you still got to try to figure out your braking.
Sorry, Tyler, it's saying Jennifer McDonald's crashed. Let's have a look and see what's happened to the Ferrari.
What did we
sharing with Jeff Jacobs.
Oh, cargo.
It's a loss of the rear. Oh, yeah, round.
Yep.
But luckily she didn't hit anything, and that is the main thing. Because this is a long race. We've got to remember that this is such a long race, Tyler.
And we've only have done 20 minutes in the race right now. She just took a little bit of too much of that rumble strip and
kind of high-centered, didn't it? A little bit.
Yeah, and especially in that corner there before you head towards the long back straight. That is one spot where she got lost at, as we're looking at the Violet and Shiflett battle still going on. But that one corner though, you can't take that rumble strip aggressive, because if you take it aggressive, that's going to be exactly what happened to McDonald, where you lose it on the back end. Nice
run by Violet, but not enough of main straight to really get to. It's not the longest pit straight in the world. Couldn't quite get enough slipstream to drag his way past Tyler Shiflett, very experienced competitor in the Ricmotech Sports Car Series, in the World Challenge as well. And Shiflett isn't going to be easily rattled by the pressure, but that's not to say that it won't affect him at all. And that's what Eric Violet is hoping, because he's hoping for just that little mistake that will allow him to take the lead.
Yeah, and right now with they're both running almost equal lap times. Tyler Shiflett ran a 2:08.86 while wow, that was close.
Sorry, he just got it just wasn't a very good line, and Violet's right with him. Is there an overtaking opportunity?
He looked at taking a dive there, but I mean he probably realized we still got over a little less than 2 hours still of racing to go. We're only 21 minutes into this race, so a lot of time still left in this race.
It does say Kevin Ford entered the pit lane on my timing screen, but that is false. It's just a slight glitch. I think when you come out of the last corner, particularly tight on the inside, I think it does sometimes think you're going into the pits.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, because especially going around Sunset Bend, you want to try to get the best.
Oh!
Wow.
Oh, sorry, I don't know. That sounded really dramatic, didn't it? But he was just taking the big old wide line.
I thought Shiflett was going to lose it there as well. I thought, because that was a little bigger than I was expecting.
Yeah, it was a bit wider than I thought.
Yes, they're both taking a wide in. Could have been a little tighter for Violet, but yeah, he just had an
absolute ton of understeer in the mid corner. One thing that where Violet seems quick is sector 1, which is a lot of the slower stuff. So Yeah,
Yeah, and
whether
then
he's
turn.
got enough downforce underneath him for the fast stuff is debatable, but we'll see whether it was just a good lap by Schiffler or whether it was a problem for Eric Violet. But
Well,
he'll be happy
here's
with this Violet anyway, regardless, because you know, needing a good finish, I think, and I think second place isn't going to be too bad for him if he does finish there. Not saying that he will, because we've got a long time to go.
yeah, and just watching how that lap unfolded, even after he completed that lap, after having a lot of understeer, when he kicked it into turn one, at first I almost thought he was going to lose it because he really put a lot of steering into that turn one. So he's trying to push the car, but at the same time he really doesn't need to push the car. As long as he can just stay up with Tyler Shiflett, it's pretty much going to be a two-car battle in the GTDs, as they're already almost 14 seconds to the good right now of Nathan Thomas, and that's not even, and that's even without the driver's swap as well.
Yeah, there it is on the screen. In fact, we'll put the main gap on. It might be a little bit easy to see, but yeah, these guys 103, 104 behind the leader. We're not getting that situation that we had at Daytona, where the classes were quite evenly matched. Far from it this time, because even the slowest GTEs are much quicker than the fastest GT3s. As Violet turns into Sunset Bend very early, almost clips the wall.
Yeah, more understeer there though.
It's struggling in the mid corner. It's very bumpy in the mid corner of Sunset Bend, though, isn't it? And that's why if your car's maybe,
yeah,
you don't even need to do the corner wrong for it to not work through there at all.
Yeah, I'm almost wanting to say it might be a setup issue, like a suspension maybe. Like he might have the suspension a little. I almost want to say maybe have the suspension a little. He might have the suspension a little too soft, because I mean I can understand having a softer suspension to help give a little bit more mechanical grip, but for Sebring like this, it's more of a mixture. You gotta have this. It's like you have to have soft springs so for like the straights like this, but at the same time you need to have that a little bit stiffer suspension. Ooh, I don't. How he was able to slow that car down, I don't know how. But
you were talking about.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But you need to definitely have like a little bit harder suspension as well in other corners. So I wonder if for D2D Motorsport Blue Team, for Eric Violet and his partner, I wonder if they've made the setup a little too soft, where it's taking too much of the bumpy corners, and that's where he's really losing time at, I wonder.
Yeah, it just needs to sort of bounce around a little bit, doesn't it? And it's not an efficient sort of traversal of the course. The gap between these two is now 0.8 of a second. So yeah, it's been a good one for Tyler Schiffler, but we can't quite break away from Eric Violet. But that shows how evenly matched they are. We're going to go to third
Jennifer
place
McDonald.
in GTL. Oh, sorry.
And I'm just giving a quick update too. I just saw Jennifer McDonald made and passed on Michael Mahonigan to get one spot back after her mistake earlier.
Well, this is the move, Tyler, and it's coming out of the second to last corner. She gets a good run out there, and
really good run.
Drags past. And yeah, goes through nice and easy. So that's one of the easiest moves you'll have in this car today. Not a lot that Mike Monaghan could do, though, really. Not at all.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
You were talking about sort of your own struggles on iRacing. I just had a little look on my account and realised I haven't done a race on iRacing since 2017. So I don't actually know how that's happened. But yeah, I've not done an official race since 2017. I did do the last race I remember doing was I did the BSRTC race at Detroit in June, I think, and that was the last sort of league session hosted race that I did. But yeah, as for official races, I haven't done haven't competed since the IMSA Sports Car Championship in 2017. So,
oh boy,
it's yeah. I need to. I'm certainly going to use the next few weeks to sort of restart my iRacing career. It's a shame I can't just have my iRating back to 1250, isn't it, and just start again, because that's
right.
I feel like that's going to be the standard that I give when I come back. But
yeah, that's like a good example for me. It's like I can be good in certain series, but then other series I'm like up and down. But I'm like, for my best series is pretty much Rallycross, which I'm actually gonna try my best for once I find out when they're gonna do the qualifiers for Rally. I'm gonna try to see if I can be able to do that.
Go for it, man. Go for it, because we've you know, it's an up and coming discipline on iRacing, and getting more
and it's
popular
one of my
by
favorite
the year.
disciplines.
And there's always some funny moments as well, which we see.
Oh yeah.
Which we see there or thereabouts. You know, I'm ashamed to say this actually from someone who has done so much broadcasting on iRacing, but I guess that's part of the reason why it's so why I haven't really raced a lot myself. I've only done 40 starts since 2014.
Oh boy.
So I genuinely do not know how that's a thing that's happened, but although I've done a lot of unofficial racing, I've done a lot of who was that getting all sideways? Brian Cartier, I think it was.
Man.
Phoenix Racing Car. But yeah, I think it's because the only racing I was really doing for a couple of years was mainly league racing. And then, so I really do want to get back. I want to especially get back on the oval. I've only got 3 oval starts in the last 3 years. So
a lot has changed since then.
I know. I need to get back on the oval. I was, without blowing the trumpet too much, I did get to the World Cup final, the iRacing World Cup final in oval in 2012.
Wow.
So you know, I can do the oval. It's just yeah, I just need to do it. I need to stop making excuses, Tyler. I think that's the thing, isn't it, mate? I just need to stop making excuses. Plug the wheel in and get going.
Safe bet there. I can agree with you on that.
I must admit, though, I had a couple of health issues last year, which sort of meant that I couldn't really. I was a lock-up again from Cartier, struggling with that hairpin. But yeah, I had a couple of health issues, which meant that I couldn't quite. It always used to stop me doing a lot of races because I just couldn't cope with it. But now all that's sorted out, so should be able to plough on. It's just doing that first one, isn't it? That's the thing. As Jennifer McDonald, I think, has had an issue.
Oh boy!
In the middle section, it's been an eventful first part of the race for her. Oh, just no!
Wow!
Oh wow, that's unusual.
Yeah, I was expecting. Oh boy!
Hello. That was Monaghan.
Yeah, that was that could have been disastrous for both of them.
But again, you know, I know I keep saying this, but you know, if she's going to make a mistake, then a spin without hitting anything is the perfect mistake to make.
Yeah, and it gets the least amount of damage possible, because she was in the middle of the track as well, and not anywhere near a wall or anything. Especially since, like, where Sunset Bay is, that's where a big area of, if you make a big mistake, you're going to be really in for a ride.
David Patton here. Car 64, a coaxial racing car. He's going pretty well, actually, kind of on his own. 3 seconds ahead of Russell Ruddy, and lapping about 0.6 of a second quicker. And then he's 8 seconds behind Travis Frenke and lapping 0.8 of a second slower. So, yeah, he's kind of on an island there all to himself. However, if he finishes there, I don't think he's going to be too disappointed, because the you know, the Ferrari looks good around here today.
Yeah, definitely, and especially in a field of where there's, for the GTE cars, of the Ferraris and the Porsches. It's definitely has become Ferrari dominant lately, but I'm expecting Porsches to probably come back pretty soon and make some big big swings in some of the races later on.
Yeah, I remember season 1 of the Porsche Cup car in our racing. I drove a lot of that, and I did really like how it drives. I mean, if the GTE one drives anything like that, it might be worth having a look. Although I do adore the Ferrari, because that's the one we ran Le Mans in 2017, and it was a cracking car. It was a really, really good one to drive. That was me, Alex Simpson, and Adam Bath that tackled that one. And you know, we did finish the race. We finished, I think, 20th it was in our split. But yeah, it was a tough old 24 hours. But that Ferrari, I can see why a lot of people use it, Tyler, because it is really very, very good.
Yeah, and it's a very durable car for a beginner.
Into the pits it comes.
Here comes Patton. So
that's an early one.
33 minutes. I think they can make it a little longer than 33 minutes. So that's definitely. I wonder if they're short. Actually, I wonder if they're short pitting and trying to do a 3-stop strategy compared to everyone else doing two-stop strategy.
I wonder if he's noticed a gap that he can go into.
Yeah, because I mean, he's about 30 seconds.
Clear. Sorry, yeah, you were just going to say exactly what I was going to say. They're 30 seconds clear of the other drivers behind them, Monaghan and McDonald, and they're a minute clear of the GT3s.
I think though, I think he'll be pretty much clear, because once Jennifer McDonald goes by, which there goes Jennifer McDonald.
Fairly quick stop, 20 seconds.
That might be actually a really good pit stop. That might really pay off for them in the long run. Because depending on when Travis Schwenke and the Excite Energy Racing team pits, and Pascal Iannucci and the Cryptology Orange team, that can really make or break. Even though when David Patton pitted, they were about a 10-second, like a little over a 10-second difference, but it's still a margin.
You've got
Here comes
Kudrowski and Childs. So Childs, you say, qualified on pole, Tyler. We missed it here, of course. But what exactly happened to him? Did you see what happened?
Yeah, I want to say he overdrove turn 1 and probably missed his braking point as well. But I from what I saw earlier, is it looked like an incident between Childs and Shiflett. And there might have been potentially contact. I'm not 100% sure, because the race control was involved in investigating it. Because whatever happened exactly, I didn't see contact from my view, but it seemed like something happened, and Bobby Childs goes sliding off of turn 1 into the tire barrier on the right front side. So if you look closer, you'll see the little
he's flashing the lights at Kudrowski, and he's trying to go through. Kudrowski disappears, and he just kind of lets him go. I think that was very gentlemanly of him, because I'll be honest, Tyler, I wouldn't have been that friendly. I would have said, stay behind. You stay behind me until you can make a move. But I know what.
That was scary.
Because he didn't really make a move. He just kind of flashed his lights at him, and he sort of went, "Yeah, all right, you can have it." But he wasn't. Childs wasn't really anywhere near making a move until that point.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually,
I know you don't want to lose time, though, do you? For no reason. Sorry.
No, definitely no. I'm actually looking at the live timing, and I just noticed Bobby Childs actually did not start on the lead lap. I mean, not on the lead lap. Did not get pole, I think.
No, I think the live timing's wrong.
Yeah, something seems off here.
The live timing's wrong because I didn't join the session in time.
It might have been also because me as well, because I went and refreshed as well. Let me look at the live streaming on iRacing real quick. DTD Gold. Actually, yeah, DTD Gold. It was so it was Bobby Childs that it did start off the race in pole position, and it looked like it was just he might have just made a mistake or had a little issue with the 24, and he has a little bit of a damage on the right front of that Mercedes for Bobby Childs in the 8. So, but nothing really was done. It was more race control gave a warning to the 24 not to do any excessive blocking, and that was it pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy to overtake here, especially if a driver's kind of defending sort of, shall we say, creatively.
Yeah, especially at the start of a race.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's tough because, yeah, it's just tough, isn't it? Really.
Absolutely. This battle's still raging on, though. Still only 6/10 of a second difference, and that's pretty much the same amount of margin as it was for lap time. Shiflett ran a 2:01.1, Eric Violet ran a 2:01.8, so, and the gap's pretty much 7/10 of a second, and that was the difference for lap times right there.
This is a good battle. It's really back and forth, and we haven't seen anything wheel to wheel yet, but still plenty of time. My only worry, actually, Tyler, is that the pit stops are going to ruin it.
I know, that's what I'm worried about too, and I'm still going to be curious as well as what's going to happen with the patent in the 64, because especially with, I mean, he pitted on lap 17. And we're currently working lap 20, so we're already 3 laps into a stint. So it's going to be interesting to see how that short pit plays out for them in the long run, because seeing that we're nearing 40 minutes into the race, a lot of things still to be played. I mean, we got about an hour, almost an hour and 30 minutes left in this race, so anything can happen still.
The night is setting in here. We haven't had a chance to take a look at the track conditions, and here we are, 28 degrees Celsius it is, 54% new veteran Michael Key, Free-to Sport Racing
coming
team.
into Sunset Bay. Oh, lost it.
I wonder if Monaghan's made a mistake, you know, because he went past McDonald when McDonald was stationary after the spin.
Yeah, well, looking at the lap times, it looks like Mahonigan ran a 2:04, and Jennifer McDonald ran a 1:59.7. So she's gaining time on Jennifer McDonald's gaining time on Michael Mahonigan, but it's still it's very slim right now. So Michael probably made a mistake here and there, but looking at the off-track counter, off-track counter for Michael Mahonigan is still at 0, so very clean race. He's probably just being very conservative right now.
Lap 22 of the Ricmotech World Challenge here at Sebring. Andrew Woodhouse and Tyler Vickery with you here for Apex Racing TV, and we've had a bit of a slow burner so far. I must say, we've not had a massive amount of on-track action, but there are a few battles that are close and a few battles that are sort of building up quite nicely. We've got 5th versus 6th in the Bobby Childs and Mark Kedrowski pretty close together in 11th and 12th, and then Monaghan and McDonald 5th versus 6th, and then we've got 8th versus 9th, Shiflett and Violet pretty close. We haven't given these guys that much love so far, but yeah, Shiflett and Violet.
And it looks like
for a while, but
and it looks like Russ Ruddock's having a decent battle as well with Brian Cartier again.
Oh yeah, that one has closed in. I don't know really what's happened with that, because
it looks like
I think it's he's just got gradually up to him, hasn't he? I think.
Yeah, just looking at the lap time, the last lap times. Russ Ruddock ran a 1:59.1, and Brian Cartier ran a 1:58.6. So that's a half a second right there.
Whoops.
So I wonder. Ooh, boy, that was interesting. A little too much curbing there, but he was able to keep it straight. But it looks like just Brian Cartier is running a little bit better, quicker pace than Russ, and might have an opportunity here coming in the Sunset Bend for opportunity to overtake if Russ is not careful.
I'm just going to try and see if we can get the gaps. No, we don't actually have the gaps between Russell Ruddock and Brian Cartier. Sadly. I'm trying to get them up on the screen, but not showing up. No, that's Ruddock versus Ford. Cartier is not showing up on. Oh, that's weird, isn't it? It's like these two aren't in a class or something.
Huh, that's odd.
It's like they aren't in a class on the overlay and they're only there when you click on them.
That's very interesting.
It's also very inconvenient for me trying to show a lap time graphic, but never mind.
Yeah.
Not a major problem. Arthur Chan is there in the other Ford as well, so I'm sorry about that if we've missed him out, because I'll be honest with you, it didn't come up on the timing sheet, so I'm not exactly sure why that would be. And I'll be honest, it is it's 2 o'clock in the morning nearly in the United Kingdom. I'm not going to try and fix it either because I've no idea how. So I haven't got anybody to ask at this time of night. But yeah, welcome everybody, no matter where you are in the world. If you're European, well done for staying up. If you're American, well done anyway. You've clicked on Apex Racing TV, you've come to join us, and we do appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell as well if you want our videos when they come out, because YouTube doesn't always put them in your subscriptions box, so please do that. Join our notification team, and yeah, that means you get our videos first, and who wouldn't want that? So Cartier versus Ruddock, Flying Tortoise versus the Phoenix. Who wins that one? I don't know. I've never seen a tortoise fly, so I wouldn't be able to tell you what that would be. It's like who would win in a fight between, you know, like a rhino and a hippo or something like that. It's not like that, but it is 2 Ferraris out there on the Sebring circuit. This is a chance for Cartier, although it is a very tight section of the course, this, and I wouldn't expect a move to be done into turn 2.
No, I think it's gonna take a little bit more patience.
This is a good one though, in the DRS zone. What is normally the DRS zone for the Formula 1 cars here on iRacing, when they actually appear at these days, which they haven't done for quite some time. Oh, good run again by Cartier. Ruddock under pressure, trying to keep this podium position that he's made. Excuse me for the sniffling as well. It's been a bit cold here for the last couple of days. Not as cold as it has been in the Midwest of the United States, I have to say. And, you know, I heard about Chicago, about minus 30 or something ridiculous like that.
It was more, yeah, it was like minus wind chill of minus 50 degrees Fahrenheit, which
It's ridiculous.
I know,
I don't know what that is.
Celsius I know would be even colder than that, like probably minus 70 or 80 for you guys.
No, that's far too cold. It's the other way around. It's the other way around.
Oh.
The Celsius is lower than the Fahrenheit. So 0 degrees Celsius is
32.
Is 32. Yes. So it's going to be. So it would be.
It'd be a lot lower than negative 50. That's for sure.
Be about minus 30 Fahrenheit would be. Yeah, it's about the same. I'll tell you what. Let's have a little look. There is the old.
The old giggle.
There is the old conversion thing. Let me see. What was it in Fahrenheit? Minus what?
The wind chill was minus 50 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, minus 45 Celsius. That works out as. Jesus, that is cold. About the coldest I've ever been in, I think, was minus 12. So I can't even imagine. I cannot even imagine what that must be like. So I hope everybody's stayed safe, and I hope everybody's okay, and has, you know, done the best they can to try and get through it if you are watching from that sort of area. But hey, look on the bright side, right? You might have had some time off work. You might have had a bit more time to spend with your families and and obviously you know, enjoy some sim racing, enjoy some Apex Racing TV, and you know, we obviously appreciate that if you use your time to come and watch us. But yeah, it's a bit of a far cry from that, isn't it? Down in Florida, although I've heard there's been a bit of weather there as well.
Well, you could say that, but it's starting to warm up again. It's been up into the 70s and 80 degrees Fahrenheit here.
You know that.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I mean, that's, you know, I would possibly, like, you know, donate a limb to be in 70 degrees Fahrenheit at the minute, but yeah.
Especially like when you go into the Celsius. I mean, it's still it's still warm weather. It's probably about like I want to say 22 or 23 degrees Celsius. I mean, that's really decent weather for you guys. And that's
you're telling me. Yeah, it's very decent weather. It is, but this is the thing, isn't it? It's I will say though, I will come to the defense of my country in a way, because I think we get a lot better weather than what people give us credit for. It doesn't people think it rains all the time here. It doesn't. It rains on quite a lot of days, but it might only rain for sort of an hour, and then it'll be sunny again. But everybody just goes,
pretty much like exactly
again.
how it happens. Yeah, that's exactly how it happens over here at times. Where it's like it's nice clear skies, all of a sudden that one cloud, and next thing you know, it's a torrential downpour, and then it changes back up again.
But for you, it's easier because it sort of dries up a lot quicker.
Yeah,
whereas for us, it's when it sort of lingers around for.
Yeah.
It can linger around for a few days, but yeah, we're usually quite. You know, we're all right. I mean, we had a hell of a summer. I mean, our summer started in about May time when it was, you know, it was 35.
Oh, yeah.
It was 35 degrees in June, Celsius.
Yeah.
So it was very hot, and one of the hottest I've seen here. But again, you know, it's
yeah.
That's what always amazes me about say the New York thing or the Chicago thing, is that the fact that, you know, we have a very similar climate. To those parts of USA, and yet, but their winters are just slightly colder and their summers are just slightly hotter. So it's just a weird one, isn't it? How it all works.
Yeah,
look at the
definitely.
sky. It's now a pink. It's now a pink color.
Yep. And quick update too. Michael Mahonigan pitted the Porsche for the Bugalian Racing.
Oh, Ian
now
Ucci's in too.
David Alessi now took over for the driver change. Yeah, and top two are both in. So. Pascal Iannucci, Travis Swanky. Now the question is, are they going to do a driver change? Because
it'll probably be Mike Dam that gets into the Cryptogy orange Porsche.
We'll see. Doesn't it? Looks like Iannucci's staying in the car. Oh nope, never mind. Why do you do this?
Oops, I lied. It always happens. I tell you, it always happens.
Yay! Yeah, here goes Robert Hartley into the Excite Energy Racing car now.
There's some nice blue light coming from somewhere. I don't know where that's coming from, illuminating the cockpit of that car. But the Canadian gets into the car. Mike Dam, Ricmotech Sports Car Series champion in the past. And a man with notoriously dodgy internet. I do hope he manages to get through this one without any issues. Still in the box. We're just waiting. I just want to wait on the pit stop time. It is about an extra 30 seconds for a driver change. And right on cue, Mike Dam leaves the pits, having taken a 57.57 second pit stop.
Yeah, it seems took a lot longer than Robert Hartley did. Because Robert Hartley actually was able to beat out David Patton by almost 6 seconds. And David Patton pitted back on lap 17, as we're right now working lap 27, so almost a 10-lap difference. But David Patton stayed in the car, unlike Hartley, Mike Dam, in both the Excite Energy and Cryptology Orange teams. So, gonna be very interesting to see what happens in another hour or so. Gonna be very curious.
Rob Hartley flashing the lights at no one in particular, probably just seeing if they work. Yeah, we're descending into the night time now. It's taken a while for the sun to actually set. I'm a bit surprised how long it has actually taken. But
yeah, I think usually like especially during the summer months in Florida, it's usually depending on where exactly you're at, it'll usually get complete darkness around 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. So it just really depends, because right now it is, looking at the sim time right now, it's at 8:34 in the evening. So, and especially when there's still a little bit daylight out, probably then another 15 to 30 minutes and we should be in complete darkness.
It does look to me like iRacing have improved the headlight effects as well quite a lot, where it's like the cars are, you know, they're running with a lot brighter headlights, and it's actually illuminating a bit more of the track itself. So when they're not in the light, in the artificial light, we have got a bit more visibility, which I think was always, I think was always a thing. Mike Ruddock in the pits, Kevin Ford likewise in the pits as well. Ricmotech Motorsports white car.
And Michael Ruddock's, the jacks are up on that car, so it looks like he's staying in the car. Kevin Ford, though, he might be switching, or they both might be staying in the car. Actually, as Eric Violet's now in the pits, and Jim Liss and Matt Owens are coming out of the pits now in the GTD class.
Yeah, Matt Owens, Canadian, gets into the TMC racing car. Don't mind Canadians called Owens, generally. No, not too bad. No, Jim Liss has got into the D2D Motorsports Gold Ferrari. Sorry, Mercedes. I'm blind, obviously. Liss has gone into the car. Oh, he goes a bit wide, though, does Jim Liss. Very competent driver. You wouldn't know it by that attempt at the hairpin, but yeah, Jim Liss very fast, and I expect him to. I actually expect him to probably keep the gap pretty level with the front runners, Jim Liss.
I think so.
Although he does have damage, I've noticed that. Obviously, he's taking over from Bobby Childs, so...
Yeah, and Chad Parker in the DTD Motorsports Blue is in the pits, and they did a driver change.
Look,
oh, boy.
Side by side between List and...
that's a GTLM car, it looks like.
Oh, yeah, that's... that's
Mike
Ruddock, isn't he? Putting a lap on him, isn't it?
Yeah. Ooh, Shiflett and Nathan Thomas are having a good battle for second right now. Oh boy, this is gonna get close. Wow.
Shiflett's up to take to the grass on the inside.
And Chad Parker came out in front of both of them.
Oh, and he's lost it nearly.
Oh, and we got a GTLM car I had to check up. I don't know. I want to say that's Mike Dam and the Christology Orange. He's gonna be gonna be fuming. He's gonna be fuming right now. Oh boy, this is gonna get interesting. This is gonna get interesting here. Oh boy. Defensive move by the 24. Oh man, Mike Diem is not gonna be a happy person right now. This battle's gonna get interesting.
Well, he's not gonna be unhappy really either, because
he is. Oh yeah.
Oh no, he will be. Sorry, no.
Yeah,
he will be.
Because right now he's losing a lot of time. He's about 6 seconds behind David Patton in the coaxial racing. And he's another 6.5 seconds behind Robert Hart.
He can't get through when they're too wide. That's the thing, isn't it?
Especially when the 24 is fighting. Oh boy, that was close. As Nathan Thomas goes wide, Mike Dam gets around Shiflett now. Chad Parker's probably loving this as he's pulling away from both Shiflett and Thomas right now for the overall lead in the GTD class. And Shiflett goes wide. Man, this battle for the GTD got real interesting with that pit stop. Right now, Tyler Shiflett's got a big run on Chad Parker now.
Oops. I was just looking at potentially a crash for Michael Key.
What happened here then?
Oh no, it's not. It's not a
just
crash.
went a little
it's
wide.
Just,
Yeah,
just gonna be
just
wide
ran
in
a
the
little
head.
wide there, and looks like Shiflett tried to make.
He's nearly lost it,
bit
Shiflett,
wide.
and Parker's gone off.
That was Parker, yeah. Thomas is fighting. Oh gosh, this is gonna get interesting. Oh, pushing him way wide. Dive bomb. Wow. How is there not a contact? Oh, contact. And Chad Parker's now dropped to third in GTD. Shiflett up to first. Nathan Thomas is just getting involved in all of this. He's up to second now in GTD class. Boy, this is gonna get interesting.
I think it already has.
It might escalate even more pretty soon with how these three are fighting. He's probably loving this too, by the way, because I'm keeping an eye on that gap. And it's dropping very quickly right now. And he might have an opportunity to catch up to these three.
Yeah. Parker just needs to keep his cool and just stay with Thomas now and just try and, well, probably needs to try and pass him if he can, just to see if he can keep with Shiflett. At the front, Hartley leads by 8.7 seconds after the very, very long stop for Cryptogy Orange. Peyton in second, Dam in third, Michael Ruddick in fourth. Jordy Fikes got into the Phoenix Racing Ferrari now in place of Cartier. And Arthur Chan still going in the Ford of Axon Driver Solutions. Kevin Ford is in seventh, Jeff Jacobs is in eighth, and David Alessi is in seventh. Charlie Shiflett in eighth, Thomas ninth. Sorry.
I just got a word from race control that it's that contact between the 24 of Tyler Shiflett and the 9 of Chad Parker is under review.
I didn't really see any. I mean, there was some contact, but not sure it needs looking at. But I guess
I don't know, but that'll be interesting.
Oh, Parker's gone. Parker has lost it.
Yep. He got on the brakes a little too hard, trying not to get into Thomas, and there goes that. And mindful as well. Just the 24s are already under scrutiny, already for the start. So, yep. I called that right. Chad Parker just got too heavy on the brakes there, closed up on Nathan Thomas, and really slammed on the brakes harder, and that Mercedes does not like slamming on the brakes. Really unfortunate there. And Edgar Sanginelli in the Frito Sport Racing team is the last car now to finally get into the pits in the GTD class.
Yeah, Edgar Sanginelli has replaced Michael Key in the Frito Sport Racing Ferrari. A half distance here.
Yep. So an hour and 3 minutes in, and just about halfway. But man, already some exciting racing. Is we've got Mike Dam now catching up to David Patton, which Mike Dam's going to be flying right now because he's going to be pushing this car and be driving very aggressive, especially after what happened when he caught up to 3 of the over the top 3 GTD drivers literally having almost like a fist fight with each other. So that kind of really hurt Mike Dam, and so he's going to be driving this car very aggressively to try to catch up to Patton and Hartley now. So I have to definitely keep an eye on this.
Close battle here. Mike Dam, let's see what he can do. Just a different beast trying to spot the curves, isn't it, under the darkness. Good run here from Dan, but he's not got the slipstream necessary. Oh, going defensive for no reason is David Patton. Absolutely no reason. Defending fresh air, and that is never a good option, because all it does, Tyler, is slow you down.
Yeah.
Mike Dan was nowhere near him. He could never make a move there, and he's defending it again. Look, he's defending the middle of the track when he just simply doesn't need to. It's such a short braking zone into that right-hander that, and now look, he's just put himself offline, and it actually might give Mike Dan the opportunity to go up the inside. And even with that run, he can barely do it. He's side by side with him. Can he complete the move? Still side by side.
Looks like Patton's got the run though. Nope, and Patton almost wrecked the car there, and he had to let off. And 10-second gap now to Hartley, so gonna get interesting to see how this goes. And the ruling for that incident between the 24 and the 9 was unjustifiable, so another warning handed out for this time both the 24 and the 9. So already 2 warnings for the 24. So something else happens later on with the 24 car that could spell disaster for GTD class win for the 24. And he's already putting the pace on too, as Cryptology Orange driver Mike Dam. Already, the gap's already dropped down just below 10 seconds now. It's almost down to 9.7 seconds, so he's definitely putting the pedal to the metal now to try to catch up to Robert Hartley.
If anybody can, he can. But Hartley, he just gets in such a rhythm that when he's on his own, there's no real reason for him to make a mistake. We have seen him make some mistakes when he's been under pressure before, but he usually gets himself to a point where there's no pressure to be had.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially with, and I dare to bet you too, Hartley's probably just playing it smooth, running some, just keeping his pace right now, knowing that Mike is pushing the car to its absolute limits right now. He's probably just saving up his tires that in case Mike's able to catch up to Robert will have a little bit more tires to work with to be able to try to fend off Mike Dam for the overall lead. Right now, your leaders overall in the GTLM class. Robert Hartley right now in the XI Energy. He's got 9-second gap to Mike Dam right now in the Cryptology Orange. And then third place currently in the GTLM is David Patton. Switching over to GTD, Tyler Shiflett is leading that right now with comfortable margin after some controversial contact there that was made earlier. So right now, Shiflet's got about a 10-second gap on Nathan Thomas. And then in third place is Chad Parker, who made a really unfortunate error in the middle of that three-car battle that they had and just lost it around, and currently hanging on the third. So there's your top three for GTD and GTLM, and right now we're just reaching the halfway point. So a lot of things can happen here.
Oh yeah, certainly not over yet. About an hour left. Plenty of time for changes. Plenty of time for good pit stops, bad pit stops, driver changes, mistakes, whatever. In the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. And yeah, it's as the night now is well and truly with us, as gravel, just dirt kicked up by Nathan Thomas. Chad Parker's got this gap down though on this lap from 2.2 seconds to 1.3 seconds.
It's closing in quick. I wonder if it's that damage, the front end damage, as well as the rear damage that Nathan got from 24 of Tyler Sifla that's really causing a lot of chaos on him. Ooh, got a big run there, but there goes that inside curbing. Ooh, had to really fight with a wheel there, trying to not loop that car around again. Chad Parker. Just keeping an eye on his onboard. Oh,
hello.
My gosh. What an incredible save there.
Yeah. Gonna get gonna go and take a look at a replay of that. I'm sorry, I don't have any instant replay control on that particular moment, but we can see it here on board again. Turns in, loses the rear, just steers into it very quickly. Good reactions. And that keeps Chad Parker pointing in the right direction.
As it goes to Chad Parker's, I believe that was Michael Ruddock going around Chad Parker and pulling a little bit of a gap as Chad Parker lets Michael Ruddock go by. Ooh, having a little issue there as Ruddock trying to get around Nathan Thomas. And I have a feeling Nathan Thomas doesn't realize that is a GTLM car he's fighting with.
Oh my god.
That could have been disastrous for Nathan Thomas.
Oh yeah. Now it's going to be a disaster for Chad Parker because he's being held up now. Is Parker tries to get the run.
You should get the run coming to Sunset Bay.
You might have to just send it into Sunset Bend here.
Yep, and he gets on the brakes a little early. Playing a little more conservative, possibly. Oh, he's got the run this time. Oh my!
Side by side over the timing line then. It's just Parker who's got his nose ahead, but he's going to have to try and go around the outside in the first corner if he is to make this work. Still wheel to wheel. Thomas keeps it. Oh, he tries to go over the grass there. It might be even a slowdown penalty for that. I'm not sure.
How there's not a slowdown penalty? I am very surprised.
I suppose he only did 2 wheels over the inside, but yeah, there could be one there. I think he is actually now serving it. Potentially, anyway.
If
it
he
might
is,
be
that's...
well, maybe not. Maybe
I don't
not.
know.
Actually.
Just he might have not have gotten one because he got lucky with it. It seems like because he's still giving a fight to Nathan Thomas. And while they're fighting away, Shiflet's probably loving this right now. He's got a 17-second gap over these two, so going to be very interesting to see how this plays out when they come in for pit stops again in probably in another 10 laps or so. We should be coming into potential last pit stops.
Depends how much fuel they have to put in. Depends. You've got to make sure. Obviously, how many times have we seen actually drivers not putting enough fuel in the car? That is another thing that they have to worry about. But
yeah,
here we go. Just
plus
0.2 of a second difference between Nathan Thomas and Chad Parker. Parker just moves out of the slipstream slightly, but again cannot. Oh, I was going to say cannot fathom my way around, but
Parker
he doesn't need to try and
has an issue. Yeah, Thomas has an issue there, went real wide and loses half a second now as well. And if they're not careful, they might have a hard charging Jim List on their tail end, because that gap now between Chad Parker and Nathan Thomas is down to less than 15 seconds now. So things are going to get real interesting here, especially if Jim List can keep the pace up. He might have an opportunity to catch up to second and third in the GTD class.
He's certainly got a chance. He's quick enough. 2 seconds quicker than them on the previous lap. Obviously they were battling, but he was quicker even than the leader. So yeah, definitely a chance for Jim List to get up there.
Yeah, that gap time between Thomas and Parker has already gone up to a second and a half now, so something really has happened with Nathan Thomas, and I wonder if it's just tires are falling off, as Thomas did pit a lap, as Thomas pitted 4 laps earlier than Chad Parker, so might be potentially as well, might be coming to his pit window. Potentially, I mean, we're on lap 37, so I mean, he has
we can't be far away.
14 laps.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, yeah, go ahead. No, I mean, I was just saying he has put 14 laps in on those tires on the stint, and he ran 23. Well, I guess I should say his teammate probably ran about 14 laps, or actually ran 23 laps the previous. So it's going to be interesting to see how these pit windows come out. Yeah, something seems wrong with the car for Nathan Thomas. 2 minute and 3.4 lap time for Nathan Thomas, and that gap just jumped all the way up to 3.1 seconds. I wonder if Thomas had an off track or something.
Yeah, it doesn't see. I can't see one on the screen, on the timing screen. I can't see an off track in play at all.
Interesting. I wonder if it's just that the tire drop-off's just getting really big with these cars. I don't know. That just seems really odd. I mean, the gap's almost at 4 seconds. It almost looks as if Thomas is not coping with the track being as dark as it is right now.
So Hartley leads, Dam second, Patton third, Ruddock fourth, Kevin Ford in fifth, Jacobs in sixth, Alessi in seventh, and then in GTD. Shiflet leads, Parker second, Thomas third, List fourth, Owens fifth, and Sanchinelli in sixth. And that is your lot here in the Ricmotech World Challenge so far. If you do want to join the series, head on over to the website, and yeah, that you can definitely, you know, there's definitely some room to come and join in the fun. That's for sure. Very, very well organised league. One of the best organised leagues I think you can find in iRacing, to be honest.
Yeah, and especially with their sports car series, it's been they definitely yield out a lot of great racing from top to bottom.
Oh, wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
Look at this.
Oh,
the lead. Black Dam has got his nose in front of Robert Hartley, and into Sunset Bend they come. Side by side they were. Mike Dam going through, so he's taken that lead out. And I don't know where that's happened though, because surely there was a that
was a huge gap though. Wow,
6 seconds, Rob Hartley's, and he's been off
track.
Oh,
yeah.
So have a look at this. Have a look at this, Tyler. He's been off the track twice as Rob Hartley on this lap.
Ooh,
that's one. Oh, and that was very minor, and then it turned into something a bit more serious, and then he went off again. Oh, this is at the very... Oh, it's the 2 off tracks, isn't it? It's the one... Yeah, it's just showing the one, and then that counts as a second one.
Boy. That's where the 204 comes into play. My goodness. So drama already for the overall battle as Mike Dam is taking over the lead, and really unfortunate for Hartley right now.
Yeah, he was catching him anyway, but not to that extent. He's still got the gap down to 6 seconds. But although we've said that, you know, mistakes can come from Hartley when he's feeling the pressure, but you know, I didn't really expect one to come there. But
yeah,
let's see how he can fight back, because he's a very good driver. He's got a very high I rating, nearly 10,000. It's one of the highest on the service.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
I'm just going to go and find. So I do have the iRacing. I do have the iRacing open on the other screen, so I'm just going to have a little look and see what his sort of career stats are, because I'd be interested to see that, for sure.
Wow, it's definitely up there.
So Robert Hartley, just found his account here, and been on iRacing since 2010, and yeah, he's up at 9,000 and odd. It's the highest I think his I rating has ever been, at 9,739. It's very close to that mythical 10,000 marker. He's had this is mind-boggling, Tyler, for any average drivers like me anyway. 1,585 road course starts, 922 wins. He's won nearly 2/3 of his races.
Unbelievable.
And he's finished in the top 5 1,401 times. He's got 899 pole positions. And his average finish is 3rd over the entire time he's been on iRacing, and that's nearly 10 years. It's 5 years of road racing.
Wow.
Sorry, it is. But incidentally, he did 34 starts in 2010, and then he didn't race again on iRacing for another 4 years. But then he had, then he's had a lot of success. He averages over 300 starts a year on the road. Yeah. Just a tremendous career, and one of one of the very unsung heroes of iRacing, I think, in my opinion, because there aren't many drivers who've had consistency like that. It's mostly MX-5s, yes. And some people snigger at that, but at the same time, no, they do. But it's still at the same time, though. You have that. You know, the competition in that car is strong. So, you know, there's a lot of drivers who just do MX-5 for whatever reason, and he's showing in the Porsche that he's very good as well. He hammers the curve there. But of course, they won last time out. There's a bit of traffic for Mike Dam.
Yeah, it looks like that is
Owens.
Edgar's. Oh yeah, actually Owens. Yeah, my apologies.
Owens out of the way of the leader, and he just sort of balks Hartley slightly. Hartley loses a couple of tenths. Now, how's he going to negotiate the traffic? Is he going to just send one through? Yeah, he does.
Oh yeah, you're very easily as well. That gap's down a little less than a sec. Well, 1.2 seconds, so it's still closing. Ooh, I heard a little bit of contact earlier, but Kevin Ford is closing in on George Fike right now. Half a second gap, heading into the first turn down. It looks like Kevin Ford's got the run.
Yeah, Jody Fike just ahead of Kevin Ford.
And Nathan Thomas is in the pits for the GTD class.
Thomas in from the top 3. Eric Violet, who was battling for the lead as well.
And that's a driver change as well. That was a lap ago, so somehow we missed DTD Motorsports Blue pitting. So Tyler Shiflett and Jim Liz.
He's in the car, so did he come out of the car and then back in?
Yes.
No, he says he entered the pits. So he's been in the car all the time, I think. It looks like.
Oh, okay.
Because he was in the car at the start of the race, wasn't he? And they've only pitted.
I thought he came out. I thought he ran the first stint, and then another driver ran the second stint. I thought. I'll double check real quick. Yeah, it looks like. Yeah, it looks like Chad Parker was in the car recently for DTD Blue.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's the. Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I'm stupid. It's all right.
That's all right. So I mean, even still though, it's going to be interesting to see when Tyler Shiflett pits.
It's just the fact that it said
Chris Dorman's in the pits.
It's just the fact that it said Eric Violet entered the pits, but I guess. No. Wait a minute. Oh, I have no idea. Anymore. Certainly the same car, so yeah. It's just me. I'm not paying attention. So.
No worries. Right now, only the GTD drivers have pitted. Well, actually, other than Jeff Jacobs and Street Survival team, they have pitted, and then Eric Violet in the DTD Motorsports Blue, with that driver change, they've pitted, as well as Stephen Thomas in Driftline Racing has pitted. So this is going to be kind of interesting for the drivers of actually that was Chris Thorman of the Coaxal Racing, and they were the team that pitted early on lap 17, so they were able to really come away with a decent run for that second stint. So this could be a good opportunity for them to leapfrog and potentially finishing podium overall for GT Le Mans.
Yeah, indeed. We'll see. It depends what sort of lap times they can, they can do. Really, Chris Torman, good driver. We'll see what he can get done. His first full lap out of the pits.
Yeah, still a good battle though between George Fike and Kevin Ford. 0.3 of a second gap right now, and it looks like it's closing even more currently. Be interesting as we're right now 45 minutes left to go in the race as we're approaching the 1 hour and 30-minute mark in the race and 2 hour and 15-minute race. So still a lot can be decided here, especially for these drivers that are going on a two-stop strategy, and especially with how Coaxial Racing was able to really be able to pull out a good interesting short pit strategy. But it could end up working out in the long run for them if they're able to keep up a decent pace and can stay ahead of stay ahead of Flying Tortoise Motorsports, possibly even try to catch up with Excite Energy and Cryptology Orange. But that'll be some really interesting questions once they pit.
Yeah, the second round of pit stops is going to be very important at the front between Cryptology and Excite Energy. 45 seconds are clear of everyone else, so I don't think they have to worry about anything else, but Hartley has to worry about going sideways.
My goodness. Really unfortunate there.
Well, he's now lost another 2 seconds from the sideways action that he's just had. So, yeah, it's not going according to plan for Rob Hartley these last 10-20 minutes.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a bit of a struggle. And it'll be interesting to see what happens when the pit stops come into play, because remember, Hartley was able to have a better pit stop than Mike Damon was able to leapfrog him. So when pit stops come into play, it'll be interesting to see what exactly happens if Cryptology Orange will have the same fate again as what they did in coming into the pits the first time. So a lot still to be played. As
you'd think not, wouldn't you? Because surely you'd think that it'd be a better pit stop this time.
Oh yeah, especially when Hartley's now 4 seconds off the pace of Mike Dam.
They won't have to fuel
right
for
now.
as long either.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. So, because right now they made it on a 26 lap run on the first stint, the same as what Hartley was able to do. So they're probably going to be doing their short pit now, like what Chris Thorman did earlier. So it'll be very interesting to see what exactly happens.
Just having a look at Arthur Chan, Sun Driver Solutions. I have no idea again why he and Phoenix Racing are not showing up on the timing screen, but we will get that rectified for next time. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. Maybe they're not in a class or something on the data file or something. I'm not too sure, but like I said, we'll get that sorted for the future.
Yep. Still driving very well though, as they're only 19.5 seconds off from Michael Ruddick, but they got to keep an eye as well, because Chris Thorman's running. He's doing okay right now, as he's going to be finishing the car, but 37-second gap right now. And the way Chris Thorman is, if these guys like Cryptology, if they do a driver change, if Robert Hartley does his driver change for Excite for this last run, to the finish. Thorman might have an opportunity to pull in first, but it's going to be interesting to see how the strategy place comes out, because if they do a driver change, it's going to take about 1:30 for that driver change. So, and right now the gap's up to 1:45. So for Thorman and Mike Dam, but even still, depending on how this pit stop plays, it's going to be up and down, and it's even as well for third because of the short fueling as well. So it'll be interesting to see if the strategy called by Coaxial Racing works out for him.
At the moment, his lap times aren't good enough, though. That's the only problem. He's the only one out. He's the only one outside of the 2 minute.
Yeah, that's the only thing. It'll be very, very interesting, though. Keeping an eye on things. No one else has pitted yet, other than just the Street Survival, other than just the Coaxial Racing, StreetSurvival.org team for GTLM, and then for GTD, just Eric Violet, Steven Thomas of Driftline Racing, and DCD Motorsports are the only four teams that have had their second pits. As David Alessi is now in the pits for Bulligan Racing. Gonna be interesting to see how this works out for him, as we're gonna keep an eye on Michael Roddick. And looks like that battle between Kevin Ford and I believe that is Chris Thorman. Thorman's catching up to Kevin Ford, it looks like. Or actually, my apologies, it's George Fike still. That battle's still going on for fifth. Be a great opportunity if Ford's able to get around Fike, and that'll be a great position there for having a top 5 for Ricmotech Motorsports.
Yeah, Kevin Ford not had the didn't have a terrific start to the race. Was kind of stuck a little bit further down the field. However, he's pulled it back over the last. Well, he spent the last hour really just clawing his way back slowly, and pretty consistent out there. Not really the fastest lap times. We normally see him be a lot quicker in the Ford Mustang than he is in the Ford GT. Is that a mistake by Johnny Fike?
Ooh, that gap's almost practically
this is
on
a good
now.
run. This is a good run by Kevin Ford. He's right on the rear of Johnny Fike. Here we go through Big Bend.
Oof.
And he now moves out the slipstream, and he's up the inside.
Late
hard
braking.
On the brakes. Is he too late on the brakes?
He's
though?
got it.
Oh.
Easily got it. So 5th place now for Ricmotech Motorsports White. Keeping an eye on the times right now. So a long way for Kevin Ford to catch up to Arthur Chan for 4th. Still, though, a great drive for him, as Ricmotech Motorsports is up 3 spots from where they qualified. So, but even so, a lot of things can happen, as Flying Tortoise Motorsports is in the pits, and Michael Roddick is in the pits. and Matt Owens as well coming into the pits for GTD. But gotta keep an eye on Thorman, because Thorman might have an opportunity, depending on when Michael Ruddick comes out of the pits. This will be a big make or break for Coaxial Racing if they're able to pull ahead of Michael Ruddick and Flying Motorsports. There goes
Ruddick out.
And he's going to stay ahead.
Yeah, it stays ahead by quite some way over Chris Thorman.
Thorman? Did Thorman have an issue or something? That just...
It says he's a minute behind. Oh, wait, no, he's coming down now. It's just getting the... He's just sorting the gap out. 23 seconds.
Wow. That just seemed...
Well, Thorman's stop was 56 seconds, remember, and Ruddick's was only 16.
Wow, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
I guess doing the short pit for second stop was going to be more advantageous than taking on the first. That definitely hurt. Definitely.
To Rob Hartley.
Oh yeah, the gap's up to 17 seconds now.
Big spin at turn 1. But he's lucky because that's one of the few areas here where there's a big tarmac runoff area. And yeah, there's no danger of him hitting anything there. But Hartley, it's fallen apart for him, sadly. Second half of the race. Exciting energy racing. But they're comfortably in second place anyway. So if you can just... I think he just needs to spend the last half an hour just...
salvaging a second.
Just making sure he gets this second place.
Yeah. I can agree with you on that. He's definitely trying to push, but at the same time, I think he needs... Sounds like he's trying to play it conservative as well as keeping an eye on things, but yeah, I'm shocked to see Coaxial Racing not taking advantage of that short pitting on the first stop. So that really hurts in the long run.
Oh, he's off again.
Oh boy. And George Fikes in another battle, 0.6 of a second gap. I believe that's George Fike and Kevin Ford again, or it might be George Fike and Michael Ruddick in the Flying Tortoise Motorsport car. Actually, no, it's George Fike and Kevin Ford battling it out still, actually. As I thought they were in the pits, as Mike Dam is in the pits now for Cryptology Orange. So Robert Hartley now takes over the lead as Mike Dam is in the pits.
Yeah, so we'll see, because Mike Dam, he is due a bit of a longer stop here. I wonder if he's going to... Oh no, he's out already. That's another quick one. I wonder if there was going to be another driver change there actually, but
looks like it's not.
On his way. Why fix what's not broken?
Exactly.
Mike Dam emerges just 25 seconds behind Robert Hartley, so yeah, so he will definitely gain that lead back when Hartley inevitably has to pit again, which should be shortly.
Yeah. So right now, the gap is 25 seconds to Robert Hartley. So when Robert Hartley comes into the pits, Mike Dam will take over the overall lead and the lead for the GTLM class. As right now, Tyler Shiflett is still leading in GTD over Jim Liss in the GTD Motorsports car by 32 seconds right now, it looks like. And both of those drivers still have the pits, but it looks like that'll be an easy runaway for Tyler Shiflett, especially after all of the controversial moves he's made today.
Yeah, Shiflet's had a good good race so far, really. He's the only one of the main contenders in all the classes who hasn't really made a mistake. Hasn't really sustained any damage either. He's got a tiny bit of damage on the front of the Mercedes, but as you mentioned, that was just that small contact earlier on in the race. It is pitch black here now.
We're keeping an eye on Tyler Shiflet right now. And 32-second gap for Shiflet to Jim List. So a lot of things can happen, and it looks like right now Arthur Chan and the Axon Driver Solutions closing in on Tyler Shiflet. And into the pits Arthur Chan goes for Axon Driver Solutions team. So George Fike, if he stays out, will take over third, and Kevin Ford right behind him, who's still having a good battle with George Fike, but it looks like Fike got around Kevin Ford now. And that gap is right now 9/10 of a second.
Yeah. Geordie Fike having a good run, has to be said, in this Ferrari. Good turn of speed for him. And yeah, ahead of Kevin Ford, so we might be able to see the pass. I may have the pass on here somewhere. There it is, indeed. So was the pass. Slow down penalty, I think. For Kevin Ford, and that's how Geordie Fike got through, so Kevin Ford's going to have to do that hard work again. Showing him in third place on the timing screen, but yeah, it is Geordie Fike. Need to keep remembering that, but yeah, I'm not exactly sure why the timing screen isn't showing them, but there we have it. Let's have a look at the fastest lap times of the race. Mike Dam has it, 157.2. And then fastest lap in the GTD belongs to D2D Motorsports Blue, Eric Violet and Chad Parker. Hartley in the pits, Hartley out of the pits.
And
quite a way
right
behind Mike Dam.
Yeah, and right behind, coming out right behind TMC Racing, so. Oh boy.
Not the best place to find the traffic either.
Yeah.
Hartley. Especially when he's not had the best half an hour of racing he's ever had in his life.
Yeah, absolutely.
You do tend to find that one mistake leads to more though. And yeah. The Porsche is not an easy car. That's got a bit of a temper.
Yeah, absolutely. Just seems. No. Right now, the gap is 18 seconds, but it seems like just Mike Dam's running a lot quicker lap times than Robert Hartley. But we'll have to keep an eye because a lot of things can happen. As Brian Cartier is in the pits for Phoenix Racing, and Jim List for DTD Motorsports Gold is in the pits.
Cartier leaves. Where does he come out then? Where's Jeff Jacobs? That's going to be reasonably close. And he's through, is Jacobs. Ahead.
Easily.
Oh wait, no. Nope. Sorry,
Actually,
that was a different Ferrari. Sorry, Cartier is. Oh, Cartier's
off.
But he wasn't off.
Straight though.
Yeah, he wasn't off by too much.
No, but
Edgar
that
Sancinelli
was close.
and Matt Owens were very close together. Sunset Bend for both of them, and then Sancinelli. It's close. The Audi's got damage. Did it have that damage a minute ago?
Maybe.
I think it did. It must have done. Tyler Shiflett's in the pits from Motorsports then. He was leading the class. Oh dear. Yep.
That was close. Whew.
So Shiflett in and Ford in.
And Shiflett will have at least a 30-second gap or so, because a minute and 15-second gap coming into the pits for Shiflett over Jim List. And with Jim List already coming into the pits, it's going to be real tough for List to catch up and make up almost probably about a good 30-second gap, I want to say, depending on how long this takes.
Yeah, there is. There is Shiflett. And that's the difference, look, you see, between... No, that is not it, is it?
That just seems odd. It seems like it stayed at a minute 16. Something's off here.
Oh no, the timing just needs to update itself.
Okay.
But you can see on the track on the see on the mini map that where Shiflett is compared to List even after the pit stop. List has only just gone into turn 1, so big difference there.
Yeah, I think something happened with my live timing, because I think I lost something. I don't know.
Part of it could be down to the fact that Chen and Cartier aren't always showing on that list. But this is Cartier versus Jeff Jacobs. Jacobs has closed in. Oh.
Yeah, the gap is 0.4 of a second, so it's gonna be an interesting little fight here to see what Jeff Jacobs can do.
Oh yeah, good driver Jeff. See how we can work his way past Cartier.
We got another close battle as well with Dean Chen, and I believe it is Kevin Ford having another good battle as well, I believe as well. I'm keeping an eye on the timing for those two as well, and that's for 5th overall.
Yeah, we'll see how that gets done. It's getting close here.
As for right now, little less than 20 minutes remaining. More like maybe, yeah, actually, yeah, a little less than 20 minutes remaining in the race. A lot of things can happen here, but man, it's getting interesting as Kevin Ford's looking way on the outside to see if he can be able to make an overtake in turn 1. Oh boy, that was close. And makes the pass cleanly.
And of course Jacobs makes the move when we're not looking at it. Here we go. See it again.
Two passes at once on us.
Well, this is the
in the same spot,
run
turn
a bit
1.
wide, is he?
Yeah, way wide. Boy.
He was out of the shot, he was that wide.
Just like how Kevin made his pass, but instead of it being on the outside, it was the reverse.
Yeah, Kevin Ford on Dean Chen then, let's see it.
Just had that better run on the outside line and was just able to make the pass very cleanly as well.
He's not giving up, Brian Cartier.
No, he's not. He's only 0.6 of a second the gap. I mean, GTD is so spread out now. I mean, it's unless something big happens with GTD, I think that the way the lineup's looking right now for GTD, I think that's pretty much it. It's more right now the way the GTLM field is right now. It's some good fighting, especially we got a good fight for top 5 in GTLM, and then we got a good fight for 7th as well. As Brian Cartier is only 0.6 of a second to Jeff Jacobs, and Dean Chen right now is only a half a second behind Kevin Ford, fighting for that top 5. So still some great racing overall. And just looking at the last lap time, it seems Cartier had a little bit of an issue, 201.2, but then Jeff Jacobs dead on 2-minute lap time, 2-minute.00. Now that's difficult to do.
Still getting personal best lap times actually coming in, and sector times from a few different drivers down the field. Stephen Thomas has done 3 personal bests. Dean Chen's done a personal best sector 6. Another Canadian.
And something might have happened to Dean Chen, because that gap's over 5 seconds to Kevin
Oh yeah,
Ford.
you're right. Here we go. Here it will be. That's going to be into the hairpin then. Let's see.
Why do I have a feeling he got on the brake? Oh, look out!
Ooh.
Jeez! That was coming in way hot. My goodness. I mean, that was full lock on as well. I mean, you could see the tires just screaming. So the next closest battle pretty much is going to be Brian Cartier and Jeff Jacobs. Is that still going on right now? Half a second is the gap now for Brian Cartier, trying to do everything he can to get around Jeff Jacobs, but it's been still a challenge.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's tough because they're evenly matched, but then again, he did make the mistake, Cartier, so yeah, he's got to do that work again, you know. Currently 7th and 8th, these two.
Absolutely, is right now gap's even closing. It seems like he's starting to get into a rhythm again as Cartier, so a lot of opportunities still.
Oh yeah, still nearly 20 minutes to go, so there's still a lot of racing to be had.
Sure.
Still another
Actually,
10
yeah,
laps.
about more about 9, as we're right now another 2 minutes and we'll be hitting the 2-hour mark, so about 17 minutes, but yeah, about 8 to 10 laps, I'd say. We'll figure it out exactly. I want to say off the top of my head right now, we'll just be in about 16, about 17 minutes to go. I think we've got about another 8 more laps, roughly. As this battle's still raging on, as Cartier's just trying to play it patient. I think Cartier's trying to get the draft, as much draft as he can. See if he can gain that extra speed in the corners, but it's just that corner speed is just not helping him move, as he had a little bit overreacted there and just lost another 0.3 of a second there to Jeff Jacobs. Looking back towards Jeff Jacobs. Giving you guys an update on the GTDs right now. Tyler Shiflin's still leading, but by a huge margin. 32 seconds is the gap for Tyler Shiflin in the motorsports. Jim List is in second right now, as Matt Owens is in the pits for the Audi for the TMC Racing. So I wonder if he didn't have enough fuel. Either way, though, Jim List, Eric Violet is in third for your GTD, Stephen Thomas in fourth, and Edgar Sancinelli in fifth, and Matt Owens just coming into the pits now in rounding out your GTD field. Top three for GTLM is Mike Dam, Robert Hartley, and Michael Ruddick. Mike Dam driving for Crypto G Orange, Robert Hartley in the Excite Energy Racing, and then Michael Ruddick in the Flying Tortoise. That's your top three for GTLM, and still a lot of racing to go, but they're still focusing on this battle for seventh, with Jeff Jacobs hanging on to an 0.8 of a second lead over Brian Cartier for seventh.
Looking at a battle which might be shaping up in the next few minutes. Jim List is only 3 seconds ahead of Eric Violet, so Violet's about 0.8 of a second quicker.
Yep. Shiflet ran Shiflet ran a 2-minute 1.0. Jim List ran a 2:01.3, and then Eric Violet ran a 2-minute 0.5. So it's definitely catching up as we hit the 2-hour mark. So 15 minutes to go in the race, and Eric Violet might have enough time to catch up to Jim List. So be interesting to see how this plays out. Just going through hairpin corner.
Pits for the second time.
Ooh, actually, I wonder. Oh wait, that was Sancinelli. Okay, never mind. So then everyone is taking 2 stops now. I was actually almost about to say because I thought Fritzo Sports Racing Team, I thought they already pitted twice. Because I was about to say, could there potentially be a chance of
who haven't?
Yeah. So everyone's done 2 stops. Pretty much it's race on to the finish for a lot of these drivers already. So a lot still up for grabs, and looking at this gap, it's below 3 seconds. Ooh, he's taking an aggressive line there as Eric Violet.
The track is quite nicely lit, isn't it? It's got the little cat's eyes in the road,
yep.
So it's not too bad. It can be most of it can be seen. Is this another? I'm not familiar really with the history of the circuit. Is this another one of these old airfield tracks? Is it?
Yes. The airfield used to be a World War II airfield.
Because there's not many of them in. I don't think there's that many airfield tracks in America compared to, say, here. But
yeah, I think. Yeah, this is one, and then I know St. Peter's is another one, but and that airfield is also it's on the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg that the IndyCars run on. That is an active airfield actually.
Really?
Yeah, and a lot of the times when that racing comes, they'll stop the air trap. I'll have to do an extra research for you on that one. I want to say
as well that or maybe it was that one. I don't know. There was one that IndyCar went to a few years ago. I never know whether it's the same one. It might just be that one. Yeah, big.
Yeah.
So was there one in Vancouver? Was there an airfield? Was like an airfield race in Vancouver or something like that? I can't.
I don't know actually. That's actually a good question.
Just do some furious googling, just to try and figure it out. But there was. Is it Portland? I want to say Portland. Oh, Edmonton. Edmonton is the airport in Edmonton City Centre. That's the one I was thinking of.
And George, I'm just looking at the chat.
It was in Canada, so I mean I wasn't that far off.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
cue all the angry Canadians in the comments. No doubt.
I'm just looking at chat real quick, and apparently, Jordy Fike, apparently they had some tactical errors. Apparently they shouldn't have, or he was saying he shouldn't have switched drivers twice, and then apparently Brian had a mechanical problem with his brakes, and so having issues with the brakes, that's never a good thing.
Michael Ruddock's been off the track, third place man.
Oh boy, what happened here?
I don't know, but he said he was off for 3 seconds.
Oh,
well, good save.
And good save, and yeah, he had to take the off track there just to not loop it around. Boy, oh boy.
That was quick reactions by Mike Ruddock.
Yep, as the Jeff Jacobs Cardi.
Edgar Sanchez also been off the track too.
Ooh. Let's see. Oh, yeah,
oh no,
maybe not. Unless.
Oh, that's letting cars by.
Oh.
It's like just Tallman by, but I don't see why I had to go off the track for that one. But
yeah.
There we go.
Okay then.
Moving swiftly on.
Yep. Keeping an eye on.
Cartier is still close. I think we might as well leave it on that one for now.
Yeah, but they are. Here's the funny thing, though. They are catching up to Dean Chen, because apparently Chen's starting to fall off, have the tires fall off a bit. Dean Chen right now ran a 2:07. Yeah, he just ran a 2:01. Meanwhile, Jeff Jacobs ran a 1:59.6 and Brian Cartier a 1:59.3. And that gap right now is only little less than 2.5 seconds and dropping. So with 10 minutes to go, a lot can happen. Heading into turn 1 now. Chen's trying to hang on for 6. Just ran a 2:04, but Jeff Jacobs runs a 1:59.4 and Brian Cartier a 1:59.4. Almost exact lap times again to the 100th. Only 1/100th of a second difference for lap times between Jeff Jacobs and Brian Cartier. So these guys might catch up to Dean Chen before within these last 9 minutes now, as we're 2 minutes and 6 seconds elapsed in this race, and things got really interesting here for 6th, 7th, and 8th in GT Le Mans.
Yeah, it's going to be a good battle. 3 drivers, 10 minutes. See what we get.
Yeah, the question's going to be how much is Dean going to be pushing, though, trying to stay ahead and trying to keep that gap. I wouldn't try to push too much, but at the same time, you've got to keep some kind of pace, especially if you're right now, that last lap time, you're a second off of the pace. So if you let them catch up too much, they're going to be in your draft, and things are really going to get interesting. As Cartier and Jacobs are just... there's times I'm almost wondering if they're working together to try to get up to Chen and then fight it out, because that gap is hovering between 0.2 of a second and 0.3 of a second, and I haven't seen it gone up too much. As Dean Chen is catching up to Matt Owens in the TMC Racing Audi, and then also as well, they might be catching up to another lap driver pretty soon, as Dean Chen flashing his lights, telling him, "Get out of my way, I got a big fight here going on."
Well, it's the last thing you need, isn't it, at this point, when you're desperately trying, because Jacobs and Cartier, not only are they battling each other, but like you said, they're desperately trying to chase down Chen.
And
Mike Dam's doing the sensible thing and just sort of staying out of this for now, but he will be on this battle in the space of a couple of laps.
Yep. And
the traffic moves out of the way. That is Owens, so well played there. But yeah, it's 2.2 seconds for Dean Chen. He's going to be starting to feel the pressure, I think.
Yeah, Yeah, because he put down the hammer. 1 minute and 59.5. And that's right around where all of the GT Le Mans cars are running right now, are 159. So I think a lot of these drivers, especially these drivers fighting as Brian Cartier takes over, gets around Jeff Jacobs. Still, though, I think it's pretty much hammer time for these guys, as there's about 6 minutes left to go in this race. And with Cartier and Jacobs fighting each other right now, it looks like Chen might have an opportunity to pull away more. And this battle for 6th, 7th, and 8th is getting really interesting. Right now, Dean Chen is holding on to a 2.3 second gap. Meanwhile, Jeff Jacobs is trying to fight with Brian Cartier on trying to get 7th place back. Right now, only a 6/10 of a second gap is the difference, and a lot can happen still. And I just noticed Eric Violet got around Jim List, and he's already pulled a second gap on Jim List now for DTD Motorsports team.
Yeah, so just a straight position change there between the two teammates.
Wonder if it's just team orders or something possible.
I would imagine so. Yeah, he's going a lot quicker. Is Eric Violet at the minute? 1.8 seconds on that previous lap, but on average of about half a second a lap, I think.
Yeah.
We're a long way off the lead, but second and third is certainly good. No need to fight your teammate when really when you're in a good position. Now Brian Cartier, it looks like, has got past Jeff Jacobs. This is the move time.
Yep, and this was when we were keeping an eye on Chen as well, and just dives it in on the inside, knowing that not much time left in this race. And
I'm amazed that Jacobs didn't defend that. Absolutely.
Yeah,
amazing.
I'm surprised
Amazing.
too. I think they were trying to focus on trying to catch up to Dean Chen, but with 4 minutes to go, you're only going to get about maybe 2 or 3 laps left, depending on where Mike Dam is at. In
to me, it's just you have to try and block him. And I know you're trying to catch Chen, but you can't catch Chen if you can't beat Cartier.
Yeah, and something might have just happened to Jacobs, because the gap went from about 6/10 of a second to 1.5 minutes and dropping. So something happened to Jacobs, because he's losing a lot of pace now.
Yeah. Pace not quite there for him. Yeah, Jim List has dropped off of Eric Violet, now 1.4 seconds. Kevin Ford is sort of status quo with Chris Torman. The gap's 4.4 seconds. That's the closest gap really out on the circuit. Igor Santinelli and Matt Owens are 8 seconds apart as well.
Yep, and this will be 2 laps to go this time when Mike crossed the line, as we're right now 2 minutes and 12 seconds left of the 2 minutes and 12 seconds into the race, and it's gonna be 2 laps remaining. 2 laps remaining right now, and then the next time by for Mike Dam will be white flag.
Now, apparently it's quite minor, but apparently Rob Hartley's been off the track again.
Oh boy!
I think it's just a minor one. Let's see.
Let's see. Yeah, looks like it. Yeah. Oh. I swear.
Just gotta be careful. That's all.
Yeah, if he keeps pushing like that, he's gonna really hurt himself. My goodness. David Alessi and Bulgarian racing right now in 9th place overall for GT Le Mans, 37 seconds behind Jeff Jacobs, but just trying to run smoothly right now, trying to just be able to finish the race and take the finish while you can. As right now we should be approaching white flag pretty soon, as we're less than 2 minutes remaining in the race.
It's only fair that we see what Mike Dam's up to on this last lap.
And he's catching up to Jeff Jacobs. So Jacobs might not even have an opportunity to try to catch up with Brian Cartier or Dean Chen as well. As white flag is in the air.
I was going to say there's not enough time. He's got it down to 1.5 as Cartier.
And I think Mike may have just slowed up a little bit to let Jacobs try to fight for position here, because I haven't seen Mike try to make any overtake. Well, maybe now.
He hasn't got close enough. He hasn't been close enough, but they've been running 59s. To be fair to the GT3 guys, in the second half of the race, the GT3s have been about the same pace as the GTEs. Yep. So I'm not really sure why that is. I haven't got a technical reason. I'm not that clever, but
that's odd.
I'm sure. But at the start, they were a good 3 or 4 seconds slower, and now they're about the same. So unless they're just a bit better on the tyres, which actually that might make a little bit of sense. I don't know, but who knows?
And I'm definitely going to update you on this. Mike has let off a lot early to let Jeff Jacobs try to fight for the race. So Mike, you'll hear Mike lifting off a little early every now and then. He's not gotten on.
Yeah, but he can't do anything. He
no,
can't do anything, Jacobs.
But I think he's letting. I think he's letting Jeff Jacobs stay ahead. Because I mean, if something does happen, like if Cartier or Dean make a mistake, or if they end up somehow catching up to each other on the final lap,
he's just trying to stay out of trouble. That's all he's doing.
Yeah.
Anyway, checker flag is going to come out at the end of this lap, round the second to last corner, just the back straight to go, and then wait a minute.
That was
I believe that was, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a GT3 car.
Here we go then, Mike Dam through Sunset Bend for the final time. He should take the checkered flag here. That's Sebring, and he wins in the Ricmotech World Challenge. Well done to Mike Dam.
Tyler Shiflett will cross the line as well, right behind him, because that was actually Tyler Shiflett that let Mike Dam by. So
Shiflett wins
great
in
win
GTD over Eric Violet as well.
We're gonna have to keep an eye on the fight with Cartier and Chen, because Brian Cartier is now 7/10 of a second is the gap now. So white flag for these guys, and these guys are pushing it now. Gap is down to 6/10 of a second. Brian's going to be probably late breaking it here, trying to get as much momentum as he can. And might have just made a little mistake, because the gap is up to a second. Possibly even Dean just making even a better run at it. Still not close enough for Brian Cartier, as the gap is starting to expand again. I wonder if Cartier's might be running low on fuel. It's down to a second again. It's gonna come down to the backstretch. Cartier's gotta get closer if he wants to use any of that draft. Oh, I heard someone spinning in the background. It might have been Jeff Jacobs, but we'll keep focus on this. Is gap now? Cartier is 7/10 of a second. The gap. I don't think it's close enough. I don't think he's got a decent enough run. Coming into Sunset Bend. Yeah, Dean Chen will more than. Ooh, actually, maybe not. Oh, it's a drag race. Not going to be enough, though. Dean Chen will hang on to 6th. Brian Cartier will hang on to 7th. And 8th place will be Jeff Jacobs. Great race, though, overall, by both classes. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable finish, though.
Yeah, enjoyable race, and the results are on the screen.
Yeah. So, Cryptology Racing finishes out. Started out in first and was able to pull away after Hartley just struggling to try to keep up. Finishing in first is Cryptology, winning in GT Le Mans. Then it'll be Excite Racing in second. after Robert Hartley giving it a hard try, just too many mistakes near the end. Then at third place will be Flying Tortoise Motorsports. Fourth place is going to be Coaxial Racing, and then fifth place, gaining 3 spots, is Kevin Ford in the Ricmotech Motorsports team. Then Axon Driver Solutions in sixth, Phoenix Racing in seventh, and then Team Street Survival in eighth, and Bergelian Racing rounding out your 9-car field for GT Le Mans. Then looking over towards GTD class, Meth Motorsports with Tyler Shiflett driving it, was able to pull away with a win here, beating out both D2D Motorsports teams of both blue and gold. Then rounding out in fourth will be Driftline Racing. Fifth will be TeamFreedosport.com, and rounding out in 15th overall and finishing in sixth in the GTD class will be TMC Racing.
User joined your channel.
Cool. Thank you very much, Tyler, for that. And yeah, well done to all the drivers, and well done to the man who joins us in the commentary box now. Mike Dam wins the race. That must be relief after the first round, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to get a good clean finish in here. You just put down some clean and consistent laps and kept it off the dirt.
Yeah, I mean, you always thought it was going to be a big battle with Rob Hartley. I bet you couldn't believe your luck when he made those mistakes in the second stint.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, the transition to like Rob got in right as it was getting dark. For me myself, I did the same thing, and it wasn't the easiest thing to do. Practicing mostly in daylight, right? And now you got to pick your apexes and watch your track out just by like some lights on the edge of the track. So it's definitely difficult. This car is difficult under braking for sure. It's definitely the most difficult GTE car. So you really have to really know how to drive this thing, or else you're going to be backwards quick.
Yeah, we did see a couple of people lose it. Was it
User joined your channel.
Was it pretty difficult to
User left your channel.
Breaking points and things like that, where when obviously it was getting darker. Sorry, I'll speak English soon one day.
Yeah, for sure. Like yeah, usually when you're picking breaking points in the daylight, you're using landmarks, or you're using little details on either the side of the road or the rumble strip, and it's a lot harder to see that when it's dark, and you kind of got to almost relearn where you're braking.
User joined your
channel. It's quite
channel.
helpful here, though, isn't it? Because they've got the
yeah, the track lights. It's very.
They've got the cat's eyes.
Almost like the run
on the track.
Almost like the airport lights.
Yes, yeah. So it just help a little bit compared to some places. Yeah, it obviously bodes well for the rest of the championship. So well done to you. Just give a quick shout out to everybody, as we're a little short on time tonight.
Yeah, just all the guys who are racing here, the admins for putting this on, Stephen Thomas for putting this together, and just Frank at Ricmotech for sponsoring this all. And it's been it's a good time.
Channel.
All right, nice one. Thanks very much, Mike, for joining us in the commentary box as usual, and we'll catch you in the next one.
All right, thanks, guys.
User was moved out of your channel. Error.
Mike down there, and we've got Tyler Shiflett joining us in the commentary box. Congratulations, Tyler, winning the GTD class. It was a tough start to the race. Very, very close fighting, but then later on it got a bit easier, but obviously it got darker, so maybe harder as well. I don't know. That was a bad question, but hello.
Hey, how you guys doing? Yeah, definitely the start was kind of hairy there. Not quite sure what happened. I know someone got a run behind me and then took it 3 wide. I tried to defend the position, and both people in front of me went wide. So it was kind of like the Red Sea part, and I just drove straight through. So very, very fortunate to get ahead of those guys. And Eric kept me honest throughout the first stint. He was very fast, so I was doing all I could to stay ahead of him.
Yeah, and then obviously, when you got to the second stint, obviously the darkness set in. a little bit different in terms of how you approach the circuit. But by that time, I guess you had a decent lead. So could you afford to relax a little bit, or were you always pushing hard?
Honestly, I was trying to push just as hard as I was at dusk because I found when I backed off, I was making more mistakes. So I tried to push as hard as I could throughout the last stint there, even in the darkness. Hit my marks, and I didn't know what those guys were doing, fuel strategy and pit strategy behind me. So I was just trying to do what I could to maintain my lead.
Well, like I say, good start. To the championship in terms of getting the first win on the board fairly quickly. Do you want to give a quick shout out to the team and the sponsors?
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to my teammate Clint. He unfortunately could not be here tonight, but thinking about you, buddy, and glad to bring home the win without you. And great win for Meh Motorsports, and hoping it's the first of many this season in this new class. Loving the Mercedes. It's a great car to drive, a lot of fun. So thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Appreciate all you guys do with the broadcast week in, week out. You guys are awesome.
Thanks very much. We've had a tough one tonight. I think it was a bit of a tiring one, but
Sure.
definitely a good race still. And we saw a lot of action. Thanks very much, Tyler, and we'll catch you in the next one, mate.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
Thank you.
User left your channel.
Right, from one Tyler to another, Mr. Vickery, thank you very much for joining me. What did you make of the race very quickly?
It was a very, very good race. And matter of fact, that was some good battling. It would have been better if we had some a little bit closer racing. But I mean, at the same time, strategies definitely make a big part of it. But it was some good racing overall, especially when we had some good battles with Kevin Ford and George Fike for the longest time. So it was great racing overall.
Nice one. Well, thanks very much for joining me. It is 3:33 a.m. in the United Kingdom. I'm going to go and get some sleep, I think. But from all of us here at Apex Racing TV, from Andrew Woodhouse, from Tyler Vickery, and all the Ricmotech World Challenge drivers, it's good night, and we'll see you next week.